Hey everyone, Russell here again. So today we will be installing the best A-arms for the 1000R suspension in my opinion. Ultra heavy duty, high quality, precision, really works of art. So super impressive. But before we get started, there's only two downfalls to these A-arms. First off, I cannot use my shock therapy limit straps on the front. Second off, I'm not able to fit my 14-inch wheels with the 6+1 offset. Okay, I am able to throw the 14-inch wheels with the 4+3 offset on there with plenty of room. So just looking at it and thinking about the measurements, I think a 14-inch wheel with a 5+2 offset would work on the front. But a 4+3 definitely fits. 6+1 is a no-go. All right, so before we get started, I'll just show you kind of the before and after look. Okay, so this is the L&W lower arched A-arm, which I have probably 12,000 miles on it. I have bent both of them. And then this is just the factory upper A-arm. And then this is what it looks like after. Okay, my research and looking around, this CA Technologies have the best, beefiest kit available. I mean, this thing is incredible. A couple things that are different is you will reroute the line, and I'll show you in depth on that in the video. All right, some of the things I recommend you have for this, the ball joint separator, you definitely have to have. Okay, I highly recommend, but you don't have to. Here's a new lower ball joint. Here's a new upper ball joint, and I'll put the prices and parts number down in the description. Okay, my lower castle nut was pretty beat up, so I went ahead and ordered new castle nuts for the bottom. I did reuse the castle nut for the top because they look like brand new. And then of course, you know, put your cotter pin in. So make sure you have these things. Like I said, I think this one's like upper ball joint is like $25. Can't remember offhand. This one's like $70 maybe for the lower ball joint. If you have a lot of miles on them, I recommend swapping them out. Of course, if you have a brand new machine, you might not have to, but that's just my recommendation. All right, to get started with this project, before lifting it in the air, if you have the limit straps like I do, you'll need to take the limit strap off before lifting it up. Then we're gonna go ahead and remove the tire. We're gonna take the shock bolt off. You can actually leave the entire shock on, but we're gonna take the shock bolt out right there. And then we're going to remove the lower castle nut, which is 19 millimeter. And then the upper castle nut, which both of those have a cotter pin you'll remove. Take the cotter pin out, remove the castle nut, and then I'll show you here, I have a 3/4 inch ball joint separator, and we'll get that separated. We can leave the axle in unless you want to replace the lower ball joint, which I recommend. I put in new lower ball joints and new upper ball joints. And then I'll show you how to kind of modify the bracket for the brake line. And this is a super easy process. Probably took me 30 minutes to do the driver's side. So you can plan on an hour and a half job to get this done. Also, we'll take the 10 millimeter bolt out here holding the brake line, and the 10 millimeter bolt right there to get the brake line free. So we'll have the 3/4 inch ball joint separator on here, which I think I paid like $20 for this at Harbor Freight. I have a metal washer right there on the bottom of it between the ball joint separator, just to prevent it from kind of messing up the bottom of those threads. And then we're just gonna tighten this down. With these L&W A-arms, it usually comes out of there pretty violently. Okay, so once that one's loose, then we're gonna remove this castle nut and then separate that. Okay, the bottom ball joint is out. I have it positioned in here. So keep in mind, I also have the steering turned all the way full passenger side, just to give us a little more room to slide in here. The washer on the bottom of the ball joint. Once those two ball joints are separated, you can see lower is out, upper is in there. I have the shock tied off out of the way. So this is just kind of, you know, the axle's holding it in place. So just kind of gently leave it there. We're gonna take out the two bolts right there on the upper A-arm. The two bolts holding the lower A-arm. And the disassembly is completely done, and then we'll throw the new ones in. Now what we're gonna do is remove these brake line brackets. I'm gonna take them off. Can't really do it and record at the same time. Basically just spread them open. Let's see, I might be able to get this one. We're going to just spread them open, take those off. And what I'm going to do is cut right there. So that tab on the end, I'm just going to cut that off so it's flat. And then on this one, I'm gonna put this one in the vise too, and I'm gonna cut it right across there. After I cut it across there, I'm gonna take this little bend out of it and make that straight. See, there's a bend right there. So where the holes are at, cut that off, bend it straight, and then we can mount them up to the new A-arms. So I do recommend spending $25 and just getting all new ball joints on this. Okay, it takes 30 seconds to press in that new ball joint. That's what it looks like on the top side. Here on the bottom side, you can see it's about a 1/4 inch in there. So when you go to press it in, you just need the sleeves to do so. If you don't have a press or those sleeves to get those in there, most auto parts, well, some auto parts places, so here in Missoula, the Napa Auto Parts, you just like drop by there. 10 minutes later, they press these in and you're on your way. So this is the upper A-arm. Also, we're gonna do some slight modifications. Like I said, we cut the tab off of that. We removed this rubber bushing right here. It used to go right there. Also on this rubber sleeve, which moves back and forth, I cut about 1 inch out of it. And so now this will kind of slide up. There's already a hole. So what I'm gonna do is drill that out. I'm gonna use a rivet and we're going to mount that right there. And then down here, we'll do the same, and I'll show you that in a second. All right, so we have the lower and upper A-arms in. New castle nut tightened down, a cotter pin put in. Upper ball joint castle nut tightened, put in. And now what we're gonna do is the brake line. All right, so there's already a little hole in there. So I drilled it out a little bit bigger, just the right size to fit a rivet in there. And same with up here. And then I'll show you how I'm putting the brake lines in. So here's the brake line all mounted up. You can kind of see the angle, drilled that out, put the rivet in there. That's still kind of loose in there, so you can slide it back and forth and adjust a little bit. It runs up and have it riveted there. The tab cut off on the end and then goes back in. So it runs on top of the A-arm instead of below with the factory one. All right, so here's a rundown on everything we did. I just replaced this lower ball joint a month ago, so I didn't replace it today. But if you have a couple thousand miles on it, I'd recommend replacing both ball joints. I did replace the castle nut there on the bottom side, which is brand new. That is a brand new upper ball joint. I did reuse the castle nut. So here's the plumbing for the brake line. Cut off the end of that bracket. This is how it runs. Got it riveted in there as well. These do come with the greasable joints right there. So you just need the needle to grease all 4 of those. So we got the all 4 17mm bolts tightened down. 2 for the upper, 2 for the lower. Of course, One other thing I did end up doing is right here on the inside, I just kind of sanded down the powder coating, because that is a really snug fit when you go to put your shock in there. So I just kind of cleaned it up a little bit to get the shock in there. It's quite a bit of work. I am extremely happy with these Demon axles. I've been running all 4 of them. I have about 1,000 miles on them with 185 wheel horsepower, and there's no clicking, no issues. The only problem I ran into with the Demon axles is they like to puke grease out a little bit, but they do come with a 2-year warranty. So overall, the upper and lower A-arms, these things are absolutely incredible, especially when you compare them side by side to factory or other aftermarket ones. They are only for the 68.5 inch wide Honda Talon R suspension. But if you follow my channel, you know this is a 4-seater that I've converted to an R, which I couldn't be any more happy with that modification. So highly recommend the CA Technologies upper and lower A-arms.